He's Jesse.
And she's Jen. And we're a couple...
Former couple.
I was going to say a couple of cocktail enthusiasts who are on a quest to learn more about our favorite spirits and liqueurs, but okay, you went there.
Welcome to Bitter Spirits.
Cherry Heering. You've seen it as an ingredient on cocktail menus, but you don't know what it is.
When you first saw it, you read it as herring, and you thought, there's something fishy about this. Herring, it's a fish.
I know what herring is.
Well, apparently you don't, or you would have laughed at that.
I don't think that's true.
Herring, the canned fish, the one that's better than sardines, but not as good as kippers.
Jesse's obsessed with canned fish.
It's a very economical way to get protein.
Very cheering, Cherry Heering.
Cherry Heering, properly known as Heering Cherry Liqueur, was first produced in 1818 by Peter Frederick Heering, a Danish merchant.
And it's remained a popular cocktail ingredient since then. Back in the 50s, it even had its own jingle.
Very cheering, Cherry Heering, cherry.
Very cheering, Cherry Heering. I mean, I get that you want your jingle to rhyme and everything, but that's kind of a stretch.
Oh, I love it. Very cheering. I mean, how many spirits can promise to be cheering?
Well, technically none, since alcohol is a depressant.
Okay, you're a depressant. Cherry Heering is made by soaking lightly crushed cherries and spices in neutral grain alcohol and then adding a sweetener during the aging process.
Which makes Cherry Heering a liqueur and not a brandy. Brandy is made by taking a fruit and distilling it, whereas liqueur is made by taking neutral grain spirits and flavoring them with a fruit, or with herbs, spices, whatever else, and then adding a sweetener.
Cherry brandy, such as kirsch, is dry, it's not sweet, so be sure you don't substitute cherry brandy for cherry liqueur when making your cocktails.
Cherry Heering can be enjoyed on its own, for example, lightly chilled and paired with dark chocolates or rich cheeses, but its most common use is in cocktails.
One common cocktail that calls for cherry heering is the Singapore Sling, but I'm not going to make one of those today because
it's complicated and Jen's lazy.
No, because it calls for Benedictine and we are out of Benedictine.
Okay.
Do you want to tell everybody what happened to the Benedictine?
No, I do not. We are not talking about Benedictine.
For those of you that don't know, Benedictine is a French herbal liqueur.
We're not talking about Benedictine. Anyway, instead of the Singapore Sling, we're making a different classic cocktail, the Blood and Sand, named after the 1922 silent picture starring Rudolph Valentino.
What happened to the Benedictine, Jesse?
We're making a Blood and Sand. Just make the Blood and Sand.
A Blood and Sand uses scotch, sweet vermouth, cherry heering, and orange juice.
The original recipe called for equal parts, 3/4 of an ounce of each, but that makes for a pretty sweet cocktail.
So we're kicking up the booze and using the recipe from Death & Co. in New York City. 1 ounce scotch, a 1/2 ounce sweet vermouth, a 1/2 ounce cherry heering, and 3/4 of an ounce orange juice.
And make sure that OJ is fresh squeezed. Like I always say, if it's from the bottle, it ain't full throttle.
Shake the ingredients with ice, then strain them into a chilled cocktail glass and garnish with, what else? A cherry.
Now, you might be thinking to yourself, scotch, sweet vermouth, cherry liqueur, and orange juice? That sounds like the awfulest.
It kind of does, but actually this cocktail is really great.
Really great. So good, in fact, I think I'll have another.
And I will make you another if you tell us all what happened to the Benedictine.
I'm not talking about the Benedictine. All right, so I just finished cleaning out the bar and it was almost morning, so I was gonna make myself some pancakes.
As one does.
And I realized I didn't have any maple syrup, but I did have a bottle of Benedictine,
Stroke of genius.
which is really sweet and syrupy because this is a liqueur.
Yeah, no, we're right there with you, champ. And then?
And I found the maple syrup, but I had already started drinking the Benedictine, so I just kept on drinking it until it was gone, and I fell asleep in the pancakes.
Sure did. Right in the pancakes.
You know, if you and I were to ever get back
We
together,
won't.